Hi, my name is Dr. Jim Brosnan. We're here today at the East Tennessee Research and Education Center to look at some research trials focused on POA control and overseeded perennial ryegrass. It's somewhat common for bermudagrass surfaces to be overseeded with a cool season turfgrass species, perennial ryegrass. During the winter season, when the bermudagrass is dormant and brown in color, the overseeding not only improves aesthetics, but it can improve in certain sports situations playability as well. We're going to start by looking at some industry standard programs, and then we're going to move on to look at some alternative concepts that we've been evaluating in our research efforts here in the weed science program. So let's get started. This entire site was overseeded with perennial ryegrass on September 29th. The cultivar that was used was PhD. We were overseeding at 300 pounds per acre. That was a rate to give us enough of a ryegrass canopy that we could rate turfgrass tolerance and the overall aesthetics of what was derived from our programs, but low enough that we can get ample POA pressure to look at herbicide performance. And you can see in our non-treated check plot in front of me that worked, right? We've got our dark green ryegrass that's intermixed in this canopy and plenty of POA pressure. The POA plants are going to be lime green in color, a little coarser textured, and on the date of this filming we can see that they're producing plenty of seed heads as well. Our first treated plot, this is an industry standard program. This is an application of Revolver. The active ingredient is 4-M sulfuron. This was applied 7 days before our overseeding date at 17.4 fluid ounces per acre. The idea behind that application is that it will control any emerged seedlings that may be present before we plant our new ryegrass canopy. You can see here, compared to our check plot, overall performance here is quite good, but the residual is starting to play out now that we're months after that application was made last fall. Then our next plot, this is another industry standard series. This is applications of Prograss. Active ingredient in Prograss is ethofumizate. These treatments were applied on October 28th and on November 20th. And again, you can see here that we compare this to our non-treated check that we looked at earlier. Our overall performance here is fairly good. It's not perfect, but certainly a step in the right direction. The next series of plots that we'll look at are all based around a single plant growth regulator. That plant growth regulator is Trimmit. In other videos in non-overseeded bermudagrass, you saw us incorporate Trimmit with different herbicide programs. Here, what we're looking at is just Trimmit alone, using it as a tool to suppress POA in our overseeded ryegrass canopy according to labeled directions. We have different concepts of Trimmit to look at, varying our rate and application timing based around our September 29th overseeding. So our first plot that we'll look at here, this is applications of Trimmit. Everything was 10 ounces per acre, and our applications were made at the dates you see on the screen. We have applications in November, December, January, February, all the way through March. If we compare this to our non-treated check, we've certainly helped move the needle in the right direction. Fairly good POA suppression. Next plot we'll look at here, same concept, little higher Trimmit rate. So we were 10 ounces in the last plot. In this plot, we're at 16 ounces. And with that increase in rate, we have an overall increase in control. Our next plot's quite interesting. So this is far fewer applications. This is one application of Trimmit at 32 ounces per acre in September. So 2 weeks before we overseed, we make a high application rate of Trimmit. We plant our ryegrass 2 weeks later, and here we've got really good control just from that single application. Our next plot is another non-treated check for comparison. You can see we've got ample POA pressure here to be expected with such a low ryegrass overseeding rate at this site. And then here, this is 2 applications of Trimmit, but all before we plant our overseed. This is an August application and a September application. Application in August is on August 19th. September application is September 16th. We are at 16 ounces an acre each time. Not really enough to keep our POA suppressed for the duration of time that we would want to see that control be held in place. Our last treatment here, this is that same series, August through September, but what we've done is we've played with rate. So our August and September applications are at 16 ounces, and then we're at 10 ounces of Trimmit after we plant our ryegrass all the way forward. We can see that our overall POA control is quite good. A synopsis of all of those Trimmit treatments. If you look at the Trimmit label, we have the ability to put this on overseeded perennial ryegrass. Our applications need to be made, if they're before ryegrass overseeding, we need to have at least a 2-week delay from our last treatment to when we plant the ryegrass. Then if we come back in after overseeding, we need a 6-week delay from when the ryegrass is planted to when we make our first application. We've had really good success here, looking at different programs with rates between 10 and 16 ounces around that ryegrass overseeding date. So this is certainly a tool that could be additive to a POA program using both herbicides and plant growth regulators in overseeded perennial ryegrass. So the next series of plots that we'll look at is focused on a newer herbicide, Velocity PM. The PM stands for POA management. This is a tool that was relaunched into the turf market a few years ago that has specific label directions for POA control in overseeded ryegrass. What we did in this trial was we looked at applications in the fall of the year, using it as a tool after our ryegrass was planted on September 29th. Could we come in the fall and try to clean up POA as it was small in growth stage and emerging from that canopy? Our first plot, this is 2.25 fluid ounces of Velocity applied 2 times, once on December 2nd and then another on December 17th. Again, our ryegrass overseeding was planted on September 29th. Here we've got Velocity PM with a non-ionic surfactant. Our overall POA control is excellent. I should note though that we had ryegrass injury with that application series in the fall. Next plot looks really similar. POA control is excellent. This is our sequence, 2 applications of Velocity PM, 2.25 fluid ounces each time. No surfactant included. Again, control really good, but we still had that ryegrass injury that was observed when we had surfactant as well. Our next plot, this is Velocity PM as well. Same series, December 2nd, December 17th. Instead of non-ionic surfactant, we have methylated seed oil. Again, our control is superb here, but we did observe injury to our overseeded perennial ryegrass in the fall after those applications were made. So here we've got a new EZ. This is a plant growth regulator, active ingredient prohexadione calcium. Unlike our Velocity plots that we looked at a few seconds ago, here we're making that application of a new EZ earlier in the fall. Treatment was applied October 28th. Really trying to target the POA that was emerging as a seedling in our ryegrass canopy and didn't really give the performance that we hoped for. Next to it, this is a non-treated check plot. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, plenty of POA pressure at this site intermixed with our perennial ryegrass canopy. Here, we've got a different Velocity series. So here's Velocity PM, 1 ounce per acre each time, applied earlier in the fall. Our first application is October 28th, and then we have another treatment on November 13th. No surfactant included. Not nearly as good from a POA control standpoint as what we saw with treatments applied in December. And then our final treatment, they're back to that December window again. So this is Velocity PM. Our Velocity was applied at 2.25 fluid ounces each time. We're putting a new with it with those applications made December 2nd, December 17th. Again, our control here, really good when we compare it to our non-treated check, but we did see some ryegrass injury when those applications were made in December, likely due to cold temperatures at that window. So that's kind of an overarching look at several different POA control strategies for use in overseeded perennial ryegrass. If you have any ideas or treatments you'd like to see us include on this topic in the future, you can leave those in the comments below. We're always looking for new ways and new approaches to put into our trial work. And we'll be back next fall out here again trying to come up with new strategies for POA control and overseeded ryegrass. Thanks for watching.